Diwali. Happy Diwali to every one of you, and may we all be blessed. And Diwali being the festival of lights, we have even more light and more mercy with us today by way of our speaker, His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. So devotees, we are very fortunate to have Maharaj, and over the past few weeks, we are very grateful for all the time that Maharaj has given us. He spent so much of time giving us his association and mercy, so we all are immensely grateful for this. And we have Maharaj's association today as well. So let's welcome His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Devotees, before we hand over, quick announcement, quick reminder to please remember to turn off your cell phones or have them on silent mode. Hare Krishna.
And if you don't turn on, if your cell phone goes off, Mataji will confiscate it. Excuse me, just a little joke. Yes, very good. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. On this Diwali day, and a happy Diwali from me too. But on this Diwali day, we will focus on Lord Ram. Lord Ramachandra, thank you. And his return. Him and Mother Sita, their return to Ayodhya. Oh, I see, okay. Are we going to pass around a question sheet or just do it? Oh, I see, okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhare Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Ballava Giri Bharadhare. Gopi Jana Ballava Giri Bharadhare. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachare. Yamunatira Vanachare. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Vishwad Paramahansa Parivrajakcharis Tadisismat. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki. Shri Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ki. Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ki. Shri Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Well, this Diwali day is known, at least amongst the Vaishnavas, as the anniversary of 3 important pastimes. One is the return of Lord Ram and Mother Sita to Ayodhya after the exile and after Lord Ram rescued Mother Sita from Ravana in Lanka. So, yes. So that's there, and we're going to focus on that actually. And I assume you've noticed on the altar on this side, they're the very nice little deities of Sitaram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. Yeah, to help us celebrate the occasion. Then the second pastime of the Supreme Lord's, which occurred on this day, is the day that the Damodar Leela actually took place. The Diwali day is the day that Mother Yashoda tied Lord Krishna to the grinding mortar, some sort of fairly big sort of pot type of thing. And that whole pastime took place on this day. Of course, we're observing that pastime every day for the whole month, the whole lunar month. Yes, so that, and in fact we will do in a little while just after the Arati, we'll sing Damodar Astakam and read the translation. Then a third pastime is that on this day, the Diwali day, this is the day that Lord Krishna killed the demon Narakasura. We won't go into that, but it's a quite well-known, quite prominent pastime of Lord Krishna's. Maybe some other day we can discuss it in some detail. It's very interesting, actually. Narakasura was the son of Lord Varaha and Mother Bhumi, the son of the Supreme, a son of the Supreme Lord. But unfortunately, he got into bad association with the demon named Banasura. Yes. Okay, and then of course it's the anniversary of the day when Lord Ram and Mother Sita returned to Ayodhya after the banishment was finished and Mother Sita had been rescued from Ravana. So it's quite an important day. These very important pastimes took place on this day many, many years ago. So we will read a series of verses on this subject of the return of Lord Ram and Mother Sita. We'll read this series of verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, chapter 10, which is titled The Pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra. And we'll begin with verse 32. I'll read the Sanskrit just of this verse, and then we'll go on and just read the translations of some of the other following verses. Aropya ruruhe yanam Bhratribhyam Hanumad Yuta Vibhishanaya Bhagavan Datvaraksho Ganeshatam Lankam Ayush Chakalpantam Yayo Chirnavrata Purim. Translation: after giving Vibhishan the power to rule the Rakshasa population of Lanka for the duration of one kalpa, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, placed Sita Devi on an airplane decorated with flowers and then got on the plane himself. The period for his living in the forest having ended, the Lord returned to Ayodhya, accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva, and his brother Lakshman. So, as I said, we'll just read on a few more verses describing the return. When Lord Ramachandra returned to his capital Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by the princely order, who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramachandra heard that in his absence, his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of kusha. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. Of course, it's an extremely long story, but Lord Ram ended up being exiled because the mother of his brother Bharat wanted Bharat, her son, to become the king and not Lord Ram. But Bharat was not interested in that. He had so much respect and affection for his brother, his older brother, Lord Ramachandra. So he wouldn't accept that. But in the absence of Lord Ram, somebody had to rule. Somebody had to rule. So Bharat ruled, but not in like a regal way, a royal way with opulence and, the usual displays of power and pageantry and so on and so forth. But as described, and we'll read actually in one of the next verses, we're going to read a few more verses, that Bharat had been living in a place called Nandigram, which is outside Ayodhya, and it's still there. In fact, I was there a few weeks ago in September, I think it was. Yeah, probably in September. Yes, we were in Ayodhya, spent 4 or 5 days there, visited many places, very interesting. And one of the places we visited was Nandigram. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a moment. So, but Bharat, he lived like a pauper. He just lived like a penniless person, although he was guiding the nation and ruling the nation, but with no pomp or glamour or anything of that sort at all. So as described, he was living simply by eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow. And he wasn't even wearing regular clothes. He was wearing the bark of trees, and he wasn't taking care of his hair. but matted locks, just, the hair gets all mixed up and kind of grows wildly. So his hair was growing like that, and just lying on a mattress, not really a mattress even, but just some little pile of kusha grass, which is a sacred type of grass. So Lord Ram, when he heard that, he was not happy. So on we go. When Lord Bharat understood that Lord Ramachandra was returning to the capital, Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigram. Lord Bharat was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned Brahmins loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden rope. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants bearing betel nut, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharat, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramachandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. Yes, so that Nandigram is still there. We were there just, several weeks ago. We spent the day there. It was really nice. It was really nice. You were with us, Yamaraj. Oh, you went with us. Okay, anyway, it was really nice. Yeah, Nandigram, it's a sacred place, a place of pilgrimage, and when we were there, it's not big, but when we were there was, I'd say, some hundreds of people there, not more than 1,000, probably less, visiting the different temples and different pastime places. And 2 pastime places struck me. One was, it's not exactly mentioned here, but it is said that when Lord Ramachandra was returning, but just before he arrived, Hanuman came and met Bharat at Nandigram and told him that Lord Ram is coming. He's coming to meet you. So the main temple there, the biggest temple at least, the biggest, is a temple of Bharat and Hanuman embracing. It's very nice. Actually, very, very nice. Yeah. And these deities, big deities, like, 5 or 6 feet tall, of the 2 of them embracing, very, very beautifully made, and really nice atmosphere. And there are other places around there. There's one place where Bharat was living, and according to the devotees there, he wanted to live under the ground, because he didn't want to live on the same level as Lord Ram. So he lived underground, they say. So there's a temple with a little underground part with the deity of Bharat there. That's interesting. Then there's another temple where the deity, the main deity, is Bharat, and Bharat is there with Lord Ram's shoes in front of him. And I took photos of all these places, and at some point in the not distant future, we will make up a slideshow and show you, because it's nice. That's okay. And maybe just about the whole of Ayodhya, all different places it'll be. I got lots of photos. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Yes, right, Nandigram. So he was living there in extreme humility and just very profound dedication to Lord Ram. And then in came Lord Ram. So we continue. After offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramachandra, Lord Bharat stood with folded hands, his eyes full of tears, and Lord Ramachandra bathed Bharat with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshman, Lord Ramachandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the learned Brahmins and the elderly persons in the family, and all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Perhaps we can just try to imagine a little. It's not so easy really, but just imagine a little what the scene must have been like, the emotions. And many of you have been to Vrindavan, I think, and you know how the whole Radhe Radhe scene is there in Vrindavan. Everyone's Radhe Radhe. And, everyone's a devotee pretty much, except in the Muslim quarter. But in the Muslim quarter, if you go up to them and say Radhe Radhe, they say Radhe Radhe back to you. Yes. So Vrindavan has that mood. Krishna Radharani sort of pervading the atmosphere all over. So in the Ayodhya area, it was the first time I've ever been there, but Lord Ram is pervading. He's really pervading Ayodhya and the surrounding areas like Nandigram, which is some distance out, I don't know, like 10 kilometers away from the city. Yeah, it's all Jai Shri Ram, just non-stop. Jai Shri Ram. Yeah. And it was very nice to see that. It was really nice to see that wonderful mood. And the people were just so extremely friendly. Just so extremely friendly and polite and cultured. It was really wonderful. So we continue. The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper cloths, and danced in great jubilation. O king, Lord Bharat carried Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes. Sugriva and Vibhishan carried a whisk, means a chamara. You know what we offer in the artis, the white. It's like a yak tail, something like that. But here it's called a whisk. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Shri Giri Govardhan Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. So Sugriva and Vibhishan carried a whisk and an excellent fan, Hanuman carried a white umbrella. Shatrughna carried a bow and 2 quivers. And Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angada carried a sword, and Jambavan, king of the rickshaws, carried a golden shield. So it was a major event. Yes, and our young devotee was trying to offer the questions sheet around, and because in a little while, like 20 minutes or something, we'll see if anyone has any questions. And I happen to know that Smita Krishna Prabhu has one. At least one will be there. So let's just see what happens now. O King Parikshit, as the Lord sat on his airplane of flowers, with women offering him prayers and reciters chanting about his characteristics, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his brother Bharat, Lord Ramachandra entered the city of Ayodhya in the midst of a festival. When he entered the palace, he offered obeisances to all the mothers, including Kaikeyi and the other wives of Maharaj Dasarath, and especially his own mother, Kaushalya. He also offered obeisances to the spiritual preceptors, such as Vasishta. Friends of his own age and younger friends worshipped him, and he returned their respectful obeisances, as did Lakshman and Mother Sita. In this way, they all entered the palace. Right. Well, let's just carry on. Upon seeing their sons, the mothers of Ram, Lakshman, Bharata, and Shatrughna immediately arose like unconscious bodies returning to consciousness. The mothers placed their sons on their laps and bathed them with tears, thus relieving themselves of the grief of long separation. And just one other thing I forgot to mention, it's an interesting point about Nandigram, is that at Nandigram there is a lotus lake. It's big. It's big. When I say it's big, it's probably, I don't know, 300 or 400 meters by 150 or something. So it's big. It's not just like a little kund. You know, it's bigger, I'd say. It's bigger than Kusum Sarovar, if you're familiar with that. I'm sure it must be. And it's full of lotuses. Oh, full. It was a little late in the year when we went there, because lotuses bloom in midsummer. Right in the midsummer, that's lotus time. But there were still lots and lots of lotuses, you know, quite nice, some nice ones, and others that sort of in the later stages. Anyway, I thought that's a very nice feature of the place. So the family priest or spiritual master Vasishta had Lord Ramachandra cleanly shaved, freeing him from his matted locks of hair. Then, with the cooperation of the elderly members of the family, he performed the bathing ceremony, Abhishek, for Lord Ramachandra, with the water of the 4 seas and with other substances, just as it was performed for King Indra. Lord Ramachandra, fully bathed and his head clean shaven, dressed himself very nicely, and was decorated with a garland and ornaments. Thus he shone brightly, surrounded by his brothers and wife, who were similarly dressed and ornamented. Yes. Being pleased, so that's the story basically of the return. That's what happened on this day. The Lord Ram and Mother Sita returned, but now things are going to just move forward a bit after the actual return as such. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharat, Lord Ramachandra then accepted the throne of the state. He cared for the citizens exactly like a father. And the citizens, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of Varna and Ashram, accepted him as their father. Yes, so Lord Ramachandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Yes, when Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear, and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. Such was the nature of the situation there when Lord Ram was ruling. And let me read, there's just very short purport here by Srila Prabhupada. All these facilities existed because of Lord Ramachandra's presence as the king of the entire world. A similar situation could be introduced immediately, even in this age called Kali, the worst of all ages. It is said, Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Krishna descends in this Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we chant offenselessly, Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. The kingdom of Rama was immensely popular and beneficial, and the spreading of this Hare Krishna movement can immediately introduce a similar situation even in this Kali Yuga. So let us say a few words about this, about these things. Yes, Lord Ram returned, and Lord Bharat, who is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he received him in just very sweet and very beautiful way at Nandigram. And then after that initial reception and meeting and embracing, it says there, we read one of the verses, it said that when Lord Ram and Lord Bharat actually met face to face, right at that time of arrival, they embraced for a long time. Yes, long time. Well, it doesn't really say how long a time, but when Lord Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri met, when they were both on pilgrimage all around India, they embraced for something like, I forget actually exactly, but something like 3 hours. Yeah, it might have even been longer actually, I forget. It says there somewhere. But they embraced for a long time. Yes, and just collapsed on the ground embracing. And also when Lord Caitanya met Lord Nityananda, something similar happens. They embraced for a long time. So yes, loving embrace. Embracing is a very important part of Krishna consciousness. Have you noticed that? It's a very important part of Krishna consciousness. That when we meet, particularly like our devotee friends, and like even particularly maybe in the temple in a more sacred type of environment, it's always nice to embrace them. I remember when I first moved into the temple in London, right at the beginning of 1973, then I got up and went upstairs to the shower room, and lo and behold, I saw devotees offering obeisances to each other, just this side, that side, and every side, and just everyone offered obeisances to everyone else individually, bowing down in the shower room and sort of the surrounding little areas, very little areas. And after they bowed down and offered obeisances, they stood up, and what did they do? They embraced. And I'd never seen that sort of thing going on before. I was like, wow, it's amazing. The emotions. Yes, because the devotees appreciate each other, and devotees have affection for each other, so it's nice to embrace. Particularly like with your friends, your equals, you could say, like that, yeah. Equals in terms of time spent in Krishna consciousness in that sort of sense. Yeah, it's really nice. And so, and you know, sometimes people from other traditions, they criticize us because we bow down, for example, before the spiritual master. And so these other groups, they say that, you shouldn't bow down before, you know, like a human. You should only bow down before God. Well, you know, if you feel that sort of respect and affection for a devotee, you can bow down. I remember Nelson Mandela bowed down just over there in front of Srila Prabhupada. Maybe he was just doing it because I did. I was showing him around, I don't know, but he did it. Yes. So to offer respects to a person, particularly someone like Prabhupada, or, you know, some person who may be your spiritual master, or a very senior devotee, someone who's really contributing to your life and really helping you in your life in Krishna consciousness, to offer respect, that's natural. And not just respect, but affection, appreciation for the kindness of helping us in Krishna consciousness. So an emotional type of response is appropriate. And it's not just this. I've read a few times about people from other traditions complaining about this thing, bowing down to spiritual masters, but we don't just bow down to spiritual masters, we bow down to each other. Yes, because we feel like it. We feel this person deserves it. So anyway, here in the purport here, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing, of course this is after Lord Ram and Mother Sita returned, when he was ruling, which, I mean, is just a few days after they returned, that when Lord Ram was ruling, because of his presence and his Shakti, his potency, and just the atmosphere which he created just by being there and moving around and interacting with the citizens, that great auspiciousness appeared in the lives of the people. Great auspiciousness. We read that verse, how all these things didn't happen. Even people didn't have to die unless they particularly wanted to for some reason. But otherwise, what to speak of not dying, but there was just no illness. Wouldn't that be nice? No sickness at all. No lamentation, no sort of becoming upset about anything at all. And Prabhupada makes the point that a similar situation could be introduced immediately, even in this age called Kali, the worst of all ages. Because it is said, Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar, that Krishna in the Kali Kale, in the time, literally it means the time of Kali. The Krishna appears, Krishna Avatar, Krishna descends, Nama Rupe, in the form of the name, or the names. Yes, and if we, Prabhupada makes the point, if we chant offenselessly, if we chant nicely, then Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, they're still present. They're no less present now in 2024 than they were those many thousands of years ago. They're actually present. And when they're present, just like the presence of Lord Ram created such an atmosphere that there was just, everything was just so beneficial. There was just benefit everywhere for everyone. So Prabhupada says the spreading of this Hare Krishna movement can immediately introduce a similar situation, even in this Kali Yuga. So anyway, you know, of course we've been chanting the Hare Krishna mantra for quite some time. I'm sure many of you have been chanting for many years. And, well, you know, the world hasn't changed so much. I mean, one way of looking at it is that if the Krishna consciousness movement had not been here, the world situation would be a lot worse than it is now. Yeah, just like, you know, hellish. Well, there's already enough hellishness around. But yeah, there'd be some really shocking situations. But the impact of the Kali Yuga is lessened, at least so far. It's been lessened by the activities of the Krishna consciousness movement. So we have to carry on with that. Spreading ourselves chanting and spreading the chanting, giving the chanting and giving Krishna consciousness to as many people as possible. And as we do like that, then the atmosphere in the world will improve and improve. And gradually, as time goes on, Shastra says, and Srila Prabhupada talked about it on occasion, there would be a period of like 500 years or more than 500 years, maybe some thousands of years, where Krishna consciousness would be extremely prominent on the planet, just all over. And the whole world situation would be affected beneficially by that. So devotees, it's up to us. And we shouldn't just look at the next person that, oh yeah, okay, Virabhadra, it's up to you. Got it. No, it means you. It means each one of us here. Yes, so we are observing this occasion today, the return of Lord Ram and Mother Sita, and then, how things then developed just immediately after they returned. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. So any questions or comments? Oh, Smita Krishna Prabhu, you have a question. Your question's not here, right? Let's hear your question first. Oh, where's the mic? The question. Your mic, right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much. By listening to that, we could at least get an understanding of the rejoicing of the people, the returning of Lord Ram. This morning we spoke about the pastime of Lord Ram, but the appearance, I wanted to focus, just ask a little bit about the demons that entered into the pastime, Ravan and Kumbhakarna. What I didn't speak about in the morning was the first appearance of those demons was Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. And then, so when they get killed, or when they appear, there's two questions in this one. When they appear, are they conscious that they are serving the Lord in that capacity as devotees playing a role, or are they completely just demons as...
Right.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada addresses this point in Caitanya Charitamrita. I don't think I'd be able to just find it just like that on the spot. But as I recall, it's in the chapter of the Adi Leela about the glories of Advaita Acharya. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Anyway, somewhere he talks about that. How Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, who appear in the pages of the Bhagavatam, well, they had deliberately prayed, please make us forget you. Please make us forget you so that we can really fight with you. Because if they know he's our Lord, and they're not going to really actually try and kill him and just, with full determination, they wouldn't do that. They would let him win. So they prayed, please let us forget you so that we can actually really fight with you, because they are Kshatriyas. in Vaikuntha. And, you know, they're warriors. They're extremely, extremely powerful. Just extremely powerful. For example, the cowherd boyfriends of Krishna, Jiva Goswami explains that many of them have the equal powers equal to Krishna's powers. Yeah. And at the least, they all are extremely powerful. So, yes, so they really fought with him, although they were Jai and Vijay. But when they were when they were fighting, they were not aware that this is our Lord, this is my Lord, and, you know, I've come as a pastime and participating in a pastime. But before, yeah, they were aware. But Prabhupada then, wherever it is, says that in other appearances, because you get Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu every time, but they're just different people, different living entities, different souls. But Prabhupada makes the point that in other times, when it wasn't Jai and Vijay specifically, then Prabhupada says they were simply demons. Yeah. They were simply demons. TK. Mike?
When Krishna kills the demons, then it says they get impersonal liberation, or they get liberation.
When Krishna kills the demons, they go back to Godhead. When other forms of the Lord kill the demons, they get generally some impersonal liberation.
So then, where are they from the period that they've been, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu been killed, and then millions of years later they appear as Ravan? So are they in the impersonal Brahman?
Yeah, they're probably in some impersonal situation. It doesn't really say specifically about them, but one would assume, because they would be placed into an impersonal situation. Yeah. And then they would descend at the right time. Yeah. For the next appearance.
Thank you much. Sorry for the technical questions, but I just try to understand that a bit. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes, okay. So I've got there two questions here. One is, I mean, it's a reasonable question. Some of you will find it a little interesting. Why do Maharajas carry a stick? Anyway, it's okay. The staff of the renounced order, it's a form of Lord Vishnu, and the sannyasis carry it to keep the company of the Supreme Lord. Yes. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, what instructions do we take from the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra to deepen our practice of Krishna consciousness? Yes, you know, in the, where I was reading from, at the sort of getting towards the end of chapter 10, but there's, in fact, I just stopped one verse before this next verse. Let me just read the translation of the next verse, 54. Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other women. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of Varnashram Dharma. Thus he taught the general public by his personal activities. So he is known as Maryada Purushottama, Maryada Purushottama. Krishna is known as Leela Purushottama, the Supreme Person who's particularly displaying Leelas. And Lord Caitanya is known as, what is it? Anyway, I forget the actual Sanskrit term, but the Supreme Lord who is particularly merciful. And Lord Ram is known as Maryada Purushottama, means the Supreme Person who follows the rules and regulations, moral standards, and he doesn't do anything, which hardly anything which could be questioned. Krishna sometimes did things which some people do question, although they're transcendental. Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Sri Giri Govardhan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. So I'll just finish in a moment. Just hang on, don't, yeah. So Lord Ramachandra, Krishna. He set that example of very upright, very honest, very pious person, devotee. Yes. And so it's said here, he taught good behavior for everyone, and especially for householders. And thus he taught the general public by his personal activities of just being very upstanding, very noble, honest, and morally pure and upright. So that's at least one thing we can learn. And very dutiful. Very dutiful. When he was told that he had to go into exile by Kaikeyi was expecting him to just panic and just, have a breakdown, because the next day he was meant to be preliminarily installed to become the king. So she expected that he'd be heartbroken, but he wasn't. And he said, well, if it's the order of my father, I accept it. He said, if my father told me to enter fire, I would just do it. Whatever my father orders me to do, I'll not just do it, but I will accept it as a very joyful, wonderful opportunity for me to please my father. Yeah, like that. So he was like that. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. And you know what Lord Indradyumna Maharaj says about the danda? He says it's a sannyasi's fishing rod to fish the conditioned souls out of material existence, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ke. Shri Diwali Mahotsava Ke. Oh, Mataji.